most recently, I've kind of had a lot of success with the mount. What used to be one of my biggest downfalls is getting people in mount and then losing the position very quickly. So something that I've learned to help hold people down in the mount is I immediately, everyone wants to go underhook, right? And this is great, super great. If you can get here, it's awesome, but it's really hard to get there sometimes. So I'll go cross face and I'll try and get into that armpit and I'll lower my chest so I'm like sternum to sternum, almost like underneath his sternum a little bit if I can. And what I'll do is I'll pinch my knees together and I'll lift him up and put him over my arm. And I want my palm to be up, touching his back. So when I pick him up, I put him over my palm like this. And now I have all my weight in my chest, like I'm pulling myself into him, right? And I'm gonna pull myself into him with my right arm here. I'm pulling myself into him with my hand that's underneath his body. And I'm like pulling myself into him and squeezing. I don't have to like overexert, but just enough to keep him from like bucking, okay? And once I do that, it puts an ungodly amount of pressure on him to where you can also start like making them suffer a little bit and it'll exhaust them, as well as you can start timing their breathing patterns and burying even deeper. Like as he exhales, I can lock it in there and he can get shortness of breath, panic, all types of stuff, and it'll really get them tuckered out. So if somehow they do squeeze away, they're gonna be really, really, really exhausted after. And from this position, I just hold and squeeze my body into them. You can drop your shoulder into their face if you really want to make them suffer, but I really like to stay chest to chest. From here with the legs, you can get your grapevines in here, but he's going to immediately start trying to fight those out. And no matter what happens, he's gonna panic and start kicking his legs, get his legs free, and even with his hands, he'll be trying to push my hips. And as long as you keep and pull chest to chest to him, it's gonna be miserable. With the legs, so he gets his legs free from the grapevines, not a big deal. He starts trying to inch his, all I'm gonna do is never bail on the chest to chest pressure. Keep the chest to chest pressure no matter what. And all I have to do is pinch my knees in tight and hold that chest to chest pressure and keep pulling in, okay? When I can, if I want to, I can always reweave my feet back into here. And basically, sorry, it's a lot of pressure. So basically, you're going to interchange. The number one goal is to always keep your chest glued into theirs and you're pulling into them, all that pressure. And then with your leg control, depending if you have grapevines in, whether you have your knees pinched, there's so much pressure keeping their back flat and glued to the floor. All you have to do is constantly be going windshield wiper into grapevines, windshield wiper into knees pinched together, stuff like that. The most important thing is that you keep that arm there, you keep this arm here. And sometimes even if you have to, re-lifting and putting it back on the arm, just so you can pull them into you. So you're not just squeezing as hard as you can, you're pulling your chest like into their chest cavity. And that's gonna really put a lot of pressure on them, make them hard to breathe, and make them struggle tremendously. So if for some reason they do get out, they will be so exhausted, it'll be a lot easier to beat them.